Hey, what's up, guys? I was just watching an old video of mine where I was talking about not to overcomplicate things, and I think this is a really great topic to discuss and to expand upon, which is I've always had the model, which is KISS, keep it simple, stupid, and that goes with exercise, it goes with nutrition, it goes with doing steroids, because as soon as we start overcomplicating things, that's when things can be a bit chaotic, and there's really sometimes really no need to, right? You can have a great strategy which is relatively simple. It's not like it's not dynamic, or it's not like there's some like intelligence involved or whatever else. But a lot of these things, I think a lot of guys just overcomplicate, especially when they're entering the realm of, say, steroids, which I'll probably talk about majority of this video, because all of a sudden they do a big test, testosterone cycle with another compound, and they're adding something else, and they're adding ancillary compounds, and you got to add this and that, and ACE inhibitors and AIs, and before you know it, you're like in this very complicated regime, which is like not even necessary for the most vast majority of guys. And the same can be said with some fitness. You know what I mean? When guys are getting into fitness, they tend to overcomplicate things, where it's just like keep it basic with a simple focus on some basic compound movements, then moves to some isolation movements, you know what I mean, and just do a good split and just be consistent. And with nutrition, it's all the same thing. It's like chicken and rice, right? Not, obviously you could eat more than just that, but like literally just like have a staple diet where you're getting your calories in, you're getting your protein in, you're getting your carbohydrates in. And that being said, there's some tweaking to things that can come down the road, but even that, it's not even that complicated. And I think guys tend to overcomplicate things. And I'll give you a perfect example. When I started really weight training hard and doing things, I all of a sudden got into like supplementation. I'm like, wow, okay, like doing a pre-workout, getting BCAAs, and all of a sudden I had this whole like shelf full of all these supplements that I'm taking, whatever else. And all of a sudden I just felt like shit, because I'm just taking a whole bunch of things. It's like, okay, yeah, like I don't mind like taking maybe a little pre-workout, creatine, no, that's a staple, BCAAs, like I like amino acids. I'll say what I do afterwards, but it's like I was taking like beta alanine and all these like micro nutrients and things, just like swallowing a whole bunch of things down. It just made me feel sick. That really upset my stomach, and I'm like, what the fuck? And I realized that afterwards, where it's like, no, keep it simple. There's only a really simple things you need to supplement, and the rest is going to come through the food you eat. So now what I do is creatine. I do an amino acid blend, but very small amounts. So I don't even do a full scoop a lot of the time, and just to have a baseline of amino acids, because those are going to be the things that are not just like with protein tissue, but like hormones and neurochemicals and things, which are going to be the pretext, or like the precursor to. So that's what I do there now. But before I overcomplicate it, long story short, right? And with exercise, it can be the same thing, where it's like you change things up a lot. You don't have a basic like training block. Like, so essentially, to simplify, is just have a training block for 3 months where you really focus on one particular compound movement. You might do another compound movement that kind of like supports that, and then you work with isolation movements and things like that. That's what I do anyway. So keep it pretty simple. And then with obviously this channel has a lot to do with taking exogenous compounds, hormones, steroids, and things. It's just about having that test base where you don't need to take an aromatase inhibitor like aromasin or something like that, because that'll just complicate things. You can, if like, obviously some people do, and they're fine doing that. But then have another compound where that might be a bit more benign, the fact that it doesn't have it's not the most potent of compounds, but you can run it for longer, and it adds up over time. I think the vast majority of people will benefit from that, because a lot of people tend to overcomplicate things, and they listen to guys online who run a particular stack, or they just get bad advice and things, and and all of a sudden they might be running ACE inhibitors, which is for blood pressure, Cialis or Viagra, which is not actually a bad thing sometimes to run. But the thing is, HGH, which again is not a bad thing to run sometimes, but all of a sudden things add up, and they may be thinking about insulin and whatever else, and you're just like, not like, don't complicate things too much. Just like take a breath, chill out, relax, keep things simple. That's going to be how it's going to be sustainable for a long time, is more of a simple method in life. And it goes with other aspects of life as well, like with finance and things like that. Like, just don't complicate things so much where it's going to cause too much chaos in your life. Like, keep it like a simple basic strategy where it's going to work, and it's like, it's going to work proper. You know what I mean? That being said, I'm going to go on the flip side, where then once you do nail that down, then there's some tweaking involved, and you can then add things that are going to potentially be more complex. At least it's not going to complicate things, but it's going to be more complex down the road. Okay, so but you need to have a good understanding of first. Like this video is going to be mostly for like beginner / novice, but even advanced guys who might be reflecting later in life. It's like maybe they're still running these complicated cycles and doing all these complicated things. It's like, dude, just take a step back and just keep it simple, because a lot of the time in life when we overcomplicate things, it's our mind that we project upon our reality and ourselves to create a scenario which is not even needed. Like, it's just our mind fucking shit up for things that are just unnecessary. Like, it's just totally unnecessary. All right. So that's what I'm going to say pretty much as the major thesis conclusion of this video. But when it comes down to steroids, like, you don't even need to run all these like exotic cycles that you hear a lot of guys doing, whatever. It's just a test base, 300-400, maybe some Masteron. I know that's hard to get now, or like premium ones can be hard to get now. Maybe a little Nandrolone, a little MPP or something like that. That's pretty much it. Maybe a little Anavar, I don't know, other RNS once in a while. I'm a fan of it, but that's not even like that's needed. But the main thing is going to be the test base, and maybe a secondary compound that's a DHC is going to be do that, a lot of the heavy lifting, right? And just be consistent. A lot of time it's not what you're doing, but it's how the frequency and duration that you're doing things, right? So if you're eating well consistently over a period of time, a duration, you're training well over a period of time, focusing on certain things, and you're doing the steroids proper over a period of time, it just adds up over time. It's a long game. It's like the tortoise and the hare, where the hare, you don't want to just jump out of the gates and burn yourself out and fuck your shit up. You know what I mean? That's not sustainable. So we're in a sustainable long game, and a lot of it is about keeping it simple and keeping it with more safer compounds and safer way of doing things. But safer means over time it's going to work better over time, right? It's not going to burn your engine out, because we only have one body. You only have one of us. So if you fuck your shit up and snap some shit up, even you're not training properly, you're getting into this wild training routine and things. And that's the other thing with training. It's like a lot of guys, they're all over the place in their training. I think you should really just focus on, for at least 3 months at a time, one thing to focus on, as opposed to like being all over the place. I know myself, I've done this because I'll be training boxing one day, I'll be CrossFit the other day, I'll be in the gym the other day. It wasn't until I kind of eliminated a few of those things, like boxing even these days as much, that now I'm in the gym more and making the gains that I should be doing. You know what I mean? Keeping it more simple. So what do you guys think about that? Leave in the comments section below. I think it's a good message that a lot of guys need to hear. Thanks for watching, guys. Peace.